Okay, during our class last week, we started lesson 1, which was getting to know you, and we're working together to collect data and explore statistical questions. You were given a strip of paper that had 3 questions on it that I told you had to get the answers to by surveying your class. You then got to come up with your own question down here. So here's the question I came up with. On average, how many times does a student in our class ask to use the bathroom in a day? The questions that were given to me were, on average, how long does it take students in our class to get ready for school? 2, does our class prefer s'mores or strawberry shortcake? And 3, how many days are in a week? So those are the 3 questions I have to answer. And then here's the question I came up with as my 4th question. So then, in number 2, I had to rewrite those questions as survey questions. So I took the 3 that were given to me and then my own, and I rewrote them in words that I would use when I'm asking someone individually. So I changed the first one to say, how long do you take to get ready for school? 2, do you prefer s'mores or strawberry shortcake? 3, how many days are in a week? Because I didn't really need to change the wording of that question. And 4, how many times per day do you ask to use the bathroom? My next step is going to be to summarize my data, so I need to make sure that I have filled out the chart on the next page completely in order to do that. So if we take a look at my data, I asked 15 different people the 3 questions. First, how long do they take to get ready for school? Second, do they like s'mores or strawberry shortcake? I'm just noticing now that I wrote an SSS. Maybe SS, it should just be SS for strawberry shortcake. How many days are in a week? And then how many times do they ask per day to use the bathroom? So if you haven't filled in this data chart yet, then please go around and ask more people in the room to fill in your chart. You want to ask 15 people, because if we don't ask 15 people, then our data values or our calculations won't really have any significance because we haven't asked enough people. So you need to have a good number of data values in order to actually calculate some statistics. So after you finish asking everyone and your table is full, the next thing that you're going to do is look at these questions on the page before. So it says, summarize the data for each question in a sentence or 2 and share the results with your group. So what I'm going to want to do is go back to my responses to number 1, and I'm not going to answer this question, how long did it take you to get ready for school, but I'm going to try to write a sentence to summarize this question. On average, how long does it take students in our class to get ready for school? So in order to do that, I'm going to need to calculate an average. So that means what I'm going to need to look at is what are the numbers here. So I'm going to go through all my minutes. I'm going to notice that this one is 1 hour in minutes. I need them all to be in minutes. So I'm actually going to change this to be, so an hour is 60 minutes plus 10 more minutes, 70 minutes. And I'm going to go through and calculate an average. So let me just make a note up here what an average is. An average is what you get when you add all of them up. So add up all values. So 10 plus 15 plus 30 plus 25 all the way down. And then divide by the number of values you had. So if I filled in my chart, there are 15. So after I add them all up, I'm going to divide by 15. And whatever that number is going to be my average number of minutes that it takes people to get ready. So I'm going to want to write a sentence in number 3 answering this. On average, how long does it take students in our class to get ready for school? So I might start number 3 with 1. It takes students in our class an average of, I'm going to fill in the number, minutes to get ready for school. So I'm writing a summary of my data. I'm going to calculate that number to put in the blank here. This will answer that first question that was on that one little sheet. The next question says, does our class prefer s'mores or strawberry shortcake? So I'm going to want to look through my data and decide, what does our class seem to prefer? Do they like s'mores better? Do they like strawberry shortcake better? And I might just tally them up. How many times do they like s'mores? How many times do they like strawberry shortcake? So s'mores, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And strawberry shortcake, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it seems like our class prefers s'mores more. So here I would write our class prefers s'mores over strawberry shortcake. The third question I have is how many days are in a week. So if I look at my data here, everybody answered 7, and I know that's the right answer because there's 7 days in a week. So I might just write there are 7 days in a week, because that's the answer to that question. And then fourth one, I want to summarize my question, and my question was about how many times per day people ask to use the bathroom. So it's going to be very similarly structured to that first one. Our students in our class ask to use the bathroom an average of blank times per day. And I'm going to have to go through these numbers and do an average and add them up. And when I have a 0, I'm going to include that. 0 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 1 plus 2 plus 0. And I'm still going to divide it by 15, even though some of the people said 0. Because 0 is still a data value. So go through and summarize your data and write a sentence for each one here. Then share them with the people in your little cluster. And then with your group, you're going to start looking at the questions that you asked and decide, if you're looking, everybody look at everyone's number 1, what do they have in common? Everybody look at their number 2, what do they have in common? Everyone look at their number 3, what do they have in common? So you want to be looking at the questions that you are answering and see if there's any commonalities among the 3 of you. And then the question you wrote is your number 4 question. Does the question you wrote fit best with, is it more like the ones in number 1, number 2, or number 3? And explain your thoughts here. Alright, so that's how you're going to finish that part out. We will review that as a class together, but it's really important that you get your answers down there now so that you have something to contribute to the discussion. Thanks for watching. Send me a message on Schoology with any questions.